By the way, I'm looking at the numbers. You got a lot of people listening. I hope you don't get nervous because you got a lot of people listening to you right now, like 60 million or something. What is that number? It's crazy. It's amazing how you can see that right away.
Yeah, it is amazing how you can see right away that that's not remotely true at all, Donald Trump. You realize we can see the numbers as well, but I understand why he would be sensitive and why he would be prone to exaggeration. That much hyped interview between Donald Trump and Elon Musk on what used to be Twitter and is now the smoking husk of a place that real news used to be spread, started like an hour late. And so, I look, plenty of people came in. It was like 1 million people. I'm sure half of them were just there to see what a train wreck it would be, but some of them were genuinely interested. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, why isn't that enough for you? But it wasn't, okay? They can't accept reality. Musk decides to make Donald Trump look connected to reality because he said combined views of the conversation with Donald Trump and subsequent discussion by other accounts, now 1 billion, which I want to be clear. I don't believe that number is based on literally anything. But even if it was, look at the weaselly way he tried to get to that number. Discussion of it is now 1 billion. You realize you were mocked a ton for how much of a tech failure it was. You're counting that as like a view? How is that positive? I know all publicity is good publicity, people say or whatever, but me making fun of you, I don't think is the same as like a swing voter tuning in to find out what Donald Trump thinks about the economy or Hannibal Lecter or whatever.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
They eventually got going, and it was mostly, Danielle, and this is where I want your thoughts on this. It felt like a Donald Trump stump speech or the stream of consciousness that passes for a stump speech, but just delivered with like half as much energy as usual. And Elon Musk occasionally interjecting, and he's basically there to be like one of the least interesting conversationalists we've ever been exposed to. So I found it to be a bit of a mess, but what did you think?
I mean, I thought that it was a disaster, but I'm also trying to figure out why Elon Musk can't get his own site to work. Like, why is it so difficult? Because this is the same thing that happened with DeSantis, right? Like, do you remember when he was supposed to be doing this big announcement with DeSantis running for president, and then the site was a absolute crap show. So here we are again. And I believe, like, one, Elon Musk was lying about the fact that there was a tax, because there's nothing that these people love more than to play the victim. There was no DDOS or whatever it was attack that happened. They just didn't have the numbers, and they were waiting for there to be some type of seismic number showing. But for Donald Trump, I mean, for the love of God, 60 million people, when we can all see the number of people, it's like, do you know how this works? I don't think that he does. And so for me, it was just like, it was a mess. It was a fluff show where the two of them could pat each other on the back and say how amazing they were and how rich they are and how smart they are. And I think, honestly, I would argue that probably more than half of that number were people that wanted to watch a live train wreck and not people who were supporters of Donald Trump. Because for the amount of people that I know that tuned in, and I know that they were not tuning in because they wanted to hear policy ideas. They were tuning in because they wanted to see whether or not Donald Trump apparently took his dentures out. Like, that's what that's what the vibe was over there.
I hope that they weren't tuning in to hear policy ideas, because if they were, well, like in the words of Tyrion Lannister, you've come to the wrong place. You know, you're not gonna get that. And I think patting each other on the back is the nicest, most PG way to describe metaphorically what was happening there. But the entire thing was a mess. It was messy, even once it got going. And as we alluded to, it was difficult to get going. You had here all of his like acolytes complaining they couldn't get in, like Libs of TikTok and Andy No and the Hodge twins. Like, but what I love about that is, these are people who either genuinely are intellectually incapable of realizing the massive frauds and liars and failures that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are, or they just have to, for their careers, pretend to not see it. Like, Elon Musk tried to do the same thing with Ron DeSantis. Remember when he supported Ron DeSantis for president, he was saying that Donald Trump is too old? I'm old enough to remember when that happened, but now he's moved on and he likes Donald Trump or whatever. Well, that one failed too. And now this one failed. All of the high profile stuff failed. The high profile launch of the Cybertruck. But like, it is their job, I guess, to pretend to not be able to see any of this. He's a genius. He's just a tech ingenue. But the evidence is every day that these people don't know what is going on. They're so bad that in the end, they make some of the false predictions of their accounts true, like End Wokeness, which I think is a Russian bot, had previously said this is gonna break the internet. Well, it didn't break the internet, but it did break Twitter for a little bit. And anyway, to your earlier question about why he can't get a site to work, it's because, and this was made very clear while they were talking about workers, Elon Musk absolutely despises people who work to make the things at the companies he buys. Okay, he buys up a car company and a rocket company, a social media company, and those were invented and made by other people who actually have expertise and understand things. And he comes in and he does the only thing that anyone who's ever bought a company has ever done, which is, how about we do this, but we spend 1/10 as much money? And so he fires all the people with actual expertise, and then the thing falls apart. And the thing could be Twitter, it could be your Cybertruck or whatever, but it inevitably falls apart. And we've been a little bit negative, so let's briefly acknowledge some fun. The Harris team, which by the way, has gone on to, Kamala HQ is on Threads and Twitter and all that, but it's also on True Social. And so it retruths Donald Trump's live reaction to the Ron DeSantis Elon Musk interview failure. When he says, wow, the DeSantis Twitter launch is a disaster. His whole campaign will be a disaster. Watch. Well, you were watching and you still fell into the exact same hole. So who's the real disaster here? But anyway, yeah, as you said, they're claiming that it was an attack or whatever. There's no evidence of that. There never will be any evidence of that because Elon Musk's followers don't demand evidence. They simply believe what Elon Musk says. What do you think?
I mean, it's just like, it's embarrassing. But to your point, yeah, it is. It's all about making money. So you fire the people who are responsible for making things work, and then you claim to be the victor of it all. Like, I'm coming in to sweep in and change things for the better, and everything that Elon Musk touches turns to crap. And like the Cybertruck doesn't work, and also looks like a vacuum, and the Teslas need to be recalled and everything. But again, I just continue to say, the amount of money that you have does not equal genius. And we need to stop equating wealth with genius, because those two things are mutually exclusive, particularly 100%. When you're looking at Donald Trump and Elon Musk. They both came from money, and then they were able to turn that money into more money off of other people's backs. That's what they have in common.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because I have been trying and evidently utterly failing to try to push back against the programming that we get growing up, which is just you worship the rich. The rich are better than you. You filthy little peasant. Okay, you worship them. And so I'll occasionally just tweet something I think benign, like stop worshiping billionaires. And a bunch of like people who are probably struggling themselves are like, you're just jealous. Like, do you think that this is helping you? Do you think that if you attack me, Elon Musk is gonna send you a check for $1 million? Is that how you think this is gonna go down? And I think they really think that, and it's utterly pathetic. And I wanna be fair too. We try to be fair here on the Damage Report always. So balancing it out, yes, on the one hand, the Cybertruck is an utter failure and breaks down constantly. But on the other hand, it also costs way more than Elon Musk said it would. So, some balance there. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.